Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning back in. Today's video is going to be how long it took me to hit pan on 3 blushes. And yes, in order to figure out how long it took me to use these up, I did end up tracking how many times I used each of them. And if you're thinking, Natasha, that's obsessive, that's crazy, my answer to that is, yeah, a little bit. I'm a naturally analytical person. I like to quantify things when I can, and I really just did it out of curiosity. I wanted to see how long it would take for me to hit pan on these, and I have some really interesting results, so I thought I'd share them with you, and that would help you as a consumer to make a more informed purchasing decision. So, just something that I wanted to share with you, and I'm going to start with the one that gave me the best results, and it's the Illamasqua Blush in the shade Katie. I talked about this in my declutter video that I released, I think it was on June 10th, and I gushed about it. I love this formula. This one is $24.50 on Beauty Bay right now. I've seen some places online that want to sell you this for $30, so I would make sure if you're going to buy anything from Illamasqua to get the best price somewhere instead of spending more than you have to. I bought mine on Beauty Bay's website, and I bought it around Black Friday, so I got a great deal on it. I think it was under $20, and I definitely plan on buying more. I love this. This one is 0.15 ounces. It's the smallest blush that I'll be talking about today, but this one by far gave me the most uses. It took me 119 uses to hit pan on this, and I apply blush very generously. If you don't use as much as I do, this might last you even longer, but I feel like I've used up around half of this. If I were to double that and say to use it up, I would need to use it around 240 times. That's, 2/3 of a year. That's not bad, especially if you can get it for under $20. I think that's a great deal. I think it's, you're spending your money wisely. The next one I want to talk about is the Too Faced Love Flush Blush in the shade Baby Love, and I talked about this one in my declutter series too. This is the only one at the time that I had hit pan on. I hit pan on the Illamasqua one like 2 or 3 days after I filmed that video, so just coincidence at the time. And this one only took 51 uses to hit pan on, but if you look, I might have only used one third of the pan instead of 1/2 like I did with the Illamasqua blush. So I would say 51 uses to hit pan, but maybe it would take me a little over 150 uses to use up. And this one was $26, and this one is 0.21 ounces, so it's more than the Illamasqua one, which is 0.15 ounces, but still 51 uses to hit pan doesn't seem like a lot. This one is also a powdery formula, not as powdery as the Illamasqua blush, but still, just be careful because you can definitely over apply this if you're not careful. But yeah, 51 uses I think is really fast. And also, the gold is chipping off. This thing is just falling apart. So I don't know about that one. The last one, which was the most shocking, is the Stila Aqua Glow Blush in the shade Rosewater. And it's beautiful, and it's like a very nice watercolor, and it has like that little meshy thing in there. How I would use it is whenever I took the top off, there would be some product on this little tip here, and I would just use my fingers or a brush or a sponge, and I would tap that and put it on my cheeks, and sometimes I didn't even use everything that was on the lid. But this one is gone. It is dried up. There's maybe a teensy bit of product like on the bottom, so if I wanted to, I could rip through the mesh and maybe get 1 or 2 more uses out of it, but it's not worth it. This one only took 42 uses to use up. Crazy. This one is $26. It's also 0.21 ounces, and I just think that's way too fast to be going through a blush. Not a good deal. I don't think it's worth the money. If you look at cost per use, the Illamasqua blush, if you were to take into account that I would double the applications to use up the whole thing, so around 240 applications to use up the whole thing, it would cost me about 10 cents per use, which, take it or leave it, but compared to the other ones, it's really good. The Too Faced one came out to be 17 cents per use, and I'm taking into account that it took me 51 uses to hit pan, but it's only about 1/3 of the product, so if I tripled that to 150 uses, that's how I calculated that. And then the Aqua blush, I calculated it 42 uses divided by $26 comes out to 62 cents per use. That is crazy. That is so expensive. That is 6 times more expensive than the Illamasqua blush. And the Illamasqua blush only has 0.15 ounces in it. So to recap, I would definitely recommend buying the Illamasqua blushes. I think they're beautiful. I love the formula. Right after the NARS Taj Mahal blush, this is my favorite blush. So it's like number 2. It's got the number 2 spot. The Too Faced one, I would recommend buying. I do like using it a lot, but if we compare, I think it's very similar to the Tarte Exposed blush. I think they're very similar shades. Let me see if I can swatch it. I'm going to do really heavy swatches, just keep that in mind. So that's the okay, I'm going to need to build it up a little bit more with the Too Faced. The Tarte is way more pigmented. So the Tarte one is underneath, and I did a really heavy swatch, so I picked up a lot of product. That's Tarte Exposed, and that's Too Faced Baby Love. So you get more pigment with the Tarte one, meaning you'd have to use less. Also, there's the same amount of product in here, but from what I've seen in Project Pans, this product takes a really long time to hit pan on and to eventually use up. So I honestly think that you would have to use this way more to use it up versus this one. So I think this one's a better deal for your money. And I think this was around $26, $28. So it's around the same price, around the same amount of product, same shade basically. This one's just a little bit lighter, but you could easily manipulate it when you're applying it to make it the same. So I would recommend the Tarte one over the Too Faced. And lastly, the Stila one I would not even bother buying. I think it's a total waste of your money. Granted, this was sitting in my collection for maybe 1 or 2 months before I started using it often, but it's just, there's no excuse for that. That's ridiculous. If you've had similar experiences with the Stila blush, let me know. Or if for some reason it lasted longer for you, let me know what you did. Did you apply it a certain way? Did you store it a certain way? Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you've done anything like this where you've kind of seen how long it took you to use up a product, please let me know. I think that's so interesting. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope this was informative and fun. And if you have any videos where you want me to do something similar, maybe with bronzers or foundation or eyeshadows, let me know and I'd be more than happy to get started on that. But in the meantime, that's everything I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!